A very good afternoon. You're watching the sports special here on India Today. I'm Nabila Jamal. After winning the Test and T20 series, Team India is now all set to take on England today in a three-match one-day series. The hosts, of course, would like to make a clean sweep with a series win in ODIs as well. But for that, they will have to outplay England, who are currently the reigning world champions.
Now then, he's played it straight to back world champions. This has gone straight up in the air. This is going to be out. Oh, is it gone straight to him? He's knocked to the way.
Test series 1-3-1. T20 series 1-3-2. It's time for the ODIs now. Virat and company are high on confidence as they head to the one-day series against world champions England.
First with the bat, magnificent effort to close 2-2 forfeits.
Shikhar Dhawan would fancy his chances to make his ODI debut, but if he takes up that number 4 slot, then Shreyas Iyer could be rested.
Oh, there he goes again, that's even better.
The hosts have gone back to their experienced opening pair of Rohit Sharma and Shikhar Dhawan for the ODIs.
The best team in the world.
As far as the opening combination is concerned, yeah, Shikhar and Rohit will definitely start. When it comes to one-day cricket, I don't think there's any issues or doubts over Rohit or Shikhar opening together, and they've been amazing for us in the past few years.
The Indian bowling department looks well in the rhythm, with Shardul Thakur and Bhuvneshwar Kumar bowling those crucial spells in the T20s which led India to victory. Rajan may well keep his place, and Prasidh Krishna, who earned his maiden call-up, is also an option alongside Mohammad Siraj. While India will be looking forward to win this format, England will try and return home with something to cheer. Sports Bureau, India Today.
All right, let me quickly cut across to Harbhajan Singh joining us for more details on that. Harbhajan, it's quite an exciting affair indeed for India. It will be fighting reigning champions England this time in the ODI. Do tell us about Virat's 71st century and the likelihood.
Well, if you're asking me, I feel, so good to see Shikhar Dhawan back. He's been a very, very good player for Team India for many years now. And, it's good to see him back in the fold, and he's getting a game to play. And all I want is just, that he gets the continued opportunities, not just 1 or 2 games. You need to back him. Even in the T20s, he played only 1 game and then he was dropped. I would like to see him as an opener with Rohit Sharma, for at least 4 or 5 games for India, and he still have it in him, and he's been a tremendous player for India, and there's no doubt about it. Even if he is going to be 38 or 40, by the time the next World Cup comes, he's still going to be as fit as he was 10 years back.
Right, Harbhajan, do stay with us. Now, there was a time when Virat Kohli was racing towards Sachin Tendulkar's record of 100 international centuries. However, it's been now close to 16 months that the Indian skipper hasn't scored a century to add to his 70-ton. Now, with 3 scores of 50+ against England in the T20s, Kohli has now announced his return to form and could well end that wait in this ODI.
Oh, shot. Oh, that is sensational. Oh, and this is 6 more as well.
Virat Kohli is back in form.
Has he put that in the gap? Yes, he has.
The Indian skipper has had a series of low scores, including a couple of ducks, but has finally come good now.
He's one-handed shots. Down the track.
For a batsman who would score centuries for fun, the wait for his 71st ton has been quite long.
With that one-handed flick, this time it'll be 1 bounce into the boundary. Does. Instead, he'll go off his back.
The last 100 that Virat scored came in November 2019 in the day-night test against Bangladesh, and the last ODI ton came in August in the very same year against the West Indies at Port of Spain.
सर फॉर्म और आउट ऑफ फॉर्म की एक ही चीज़ मेरे जहन में आती है, ये वही गाना है, कुछ तो लोग कहेंगे लोगों का काम है कहना, छोड़ो बेकार की बातों में कहीं बीत ना जाए रहना। और ये सब बाहर की बातें मेरे लिए, टू बी वेरी ऑनेस्ट, एकदम फालतू बातें। मतलब फ्रॉम द फर्स्ट डे ऑफ माई करियर टू द लास्ट डे ऑफ माई करियर, ये सब बाहर की बातें मेरे लिए हमेशा और हमेशा फालतू बातें रहेंगी।
However, the last T20 series that India won against England, Virat was adjudged player of the series. He scored a total of 231 runs, including 3 half-centuries, with 2 of them coming in winning causes. It was his unbeaten 80 in the deciding 5th T20 that allowed India to set England a mammoth 225-run target. Virat looked settled and in charge of his game, and this ODI series would finally end his drought of a century. Sports Bureau, India Today.
All right, all the excitement and enthusiasm has already begun as England wins the toss and has opted to bat. I have with me Rahul Rawat right here to give us an insight into how India has positioned itself. It appears that a tried and tested formula will be kicking off as of now.
Well, absolutely. I think, as you mentioned, England have won the toss and they have elected to field first, and you're going to see 2 new faces as far as ODIs are concerned. Krunal Pandya, Hardik Pandya's brother, is going to make his ODI debut, and Prasidh Krishna, Karnataka fast bowler, he is also going to debut today for India. I have with me, as you said, Harbhajan Singh, and of course our consulting editor Boria Majumdar. Boria, how do you see this series? Just an ODI series, or would you like to see India experimenting as for the T20 World Cup?
I would actually like to see them experiment, Rahul, because if you see, this is sandwiched between T20, where there is a World Cup, and the Test Championship. So relatively this lacks significance. I mean, these 3 games lack significance a little bit because it's a bilateral contest, and that is why you should take the opportunity to experiment. I actually endorse the debut of Prasidh Krishna and Krunal Pandya coming in, because this is your platform. You've got to try and maximize this opportunity to ensure that when other key players go out injured, you are not in a position like the 2019 World Cup. So, very good question that you asked. This is the platform. You've beaten them in the Test series. Right. You've beaten them in the T20 series. So relatively more important in 21. So this is your platform to experiment, and I'm absolutely fine with it.
Well, and you said experimenting. India did go in with a tried and tested opening pair as far as the T20s were concerned. KL Rahul wasn't too successful, could manage just 15 runs in those 4 innings. Bhaju, you think he should get another opportunity here, because that was quite a big setback for KL Rahul?
Yeah, see, these things happens in cricket, or for for that matter in any game or any sports. We know that KL Rahul is a very, very good player. He's a quality player. He's a match winner in his own ways, and he have proven it before. And yes, last 4 games he didn't get going, he didn't get scores, but I'm sure whenever he'll get the opportunity, he's gonna come good. Because I've played with him, I've known him for many years. He's been a quality player, and I hope he do get the opportunity at some stage in this series, and he do come back in the form.
Buri, I was just wondering, Shikhar Dhawan opening with Rohit Sharma. They've been a very, very successful opening pair for India. Since 2013, they've been playing together as an opening pair. But, currently Shikhar is 35. By the time the 2023 World Cup, the ODI World Cup comes, he should be somewhere around 38. So is he in the scheme of things for this Indian team management? Because I don't see him. I don't know what about you. I don't see him in that opening for India in the 21 T20 World Cup this year.
Again, I agree with you. I agree with you that I don't see Shikhar in the 2021 T20 format. But if you see Sachin Tendulkar in 2011, he was 38. And he had one of his best World Cups, scoring 492. If you see 2007, Glenn McGrath was 37. So there is absolutely no reason with sports science. You see Roger Federer is turning 40. So there's no reason for Shikhar Dhawan. And Shikhar Dhawan in ICC tournaments is a different beast. And in the 2019 World Cup, who knows what would have happened if Shikhar would not have gotten injured after that Australia century. So this is the platform. The 50-over game is his platform. Similar to KL Rahul. He's lost his spot in the Test series, in the Test team. He's lost his spot in the ODI team. He might make a comeback. So where is KL Rahul's career going? He's got so much talent. So for Shikhar Dhawan, this is a very important series, Rahul, because he's got to make this count.
Right. You said where is KL Rahul's career going? Well, let me just repeat it once again. England have won the toss and they've elected to field first. And let me give you the 11 as far as this Indian team is concerned. Rohit Sharma and Shikhar Dhawan, which Virat Kohli had already mentioned yesterday that they would be opening for India. And then you have Virat Kohli. KL Rahul is going to be there. Shreyas Iyer, not Surya Kumar Yadav. So Surya Kumar Yadav misses out. Hardik Pandya, Krunal Pandya, both the brothers would be playing for India once again together. Shardul Thakur, Bhuvneshwar Kumar, Kuldeep Yadav and Prasidh Krishna. So no Yuzvendra Chahal, and you have gone in with Kuldeep Yadav. Boria?
Importantly, no Rishabh Pant, Rahul. So imagine the pressure on KL. He's got to keep, and he knows Rishabh Pant is in the form of his life.
Yes,
so that is why I asked this question, that you are actually playing in for a player who's perhaps completely transformed as one of your match winners. So that is the problem of plenty, or the problem of riches that this Indian team now has. It's a superb lineup. Surya misses out, Rishabh misses out. They will walk into any team in any part of the world. Quality side, but I would want the opening combo, and like you were talking about Virat Kohli a couple of minutes back, I would want Virat to get 100 and just get going. The way he batted in the T20 series was phenomenal. You've got to put a big score on the board, and even if there is due, that big score and scoreboard pressure should help India clinch this one.
Well, yes, you mentioned about KL Rahul. Of course, the last ODI series that India played was in Australia. That, of course, India lost 2-1. And after that, of course, the last game, India did come back and won that game. KL Rahul was part of that team. Rishabh Pant wasn't part of the team, and India have gone in with the same wicket keeper, because the T20 series, Ishan Kishan and Rishabh Pant were listed as wicket keepers, not KL Rahul. Here, for the ODI series, KL Rahul and Rishabh Pant were listed as wicket keepers. But Kuldeep Yadav, some respite for him. He's been travelling with the Indian team. He couldn't get a single game. I think he was the only player on that tour of Australia who couldn't get a game, who was initially part of that team. Then the T20 series, he wasn't there. Now finally he gets a game. So he also has a point to prove.
Huge point to prove. And I'm glad you asked that question. Kuldeep is a talented man, and left arm wrist spin is still a disappearing art. So he's still a rare commodity. And Kuldeep, if he sort of sorts himself out, he was supposedly our biggest match winner overseas, according to Ravi, in 2018-19. Lost form, but anyone can lose form. That doesn't take quality away from you. So if you can make a comeback, and I'm delighted that Kuldeep has gotten an opportunity, if he picks 2-3 wickets, will not be easy against an England side who will attack him. They attacked him in the World Cup. If you remember that match in Edgbaston, they attacked Kuldeep and Chahal, and that's where India's downfall started in that particular contest. So you would expect Kuldeep Yadav to make a comeback. It was the same England. This is the same England.
Right.
Maybe it's come full circle for him.
Absolutely. Very same thing. Even I was wondering. Bajuba, I asked the same question to Boria. How should India approach this series? Just a 3-match series. I don't know the relevance of this series. A lot of players would also be wondering. So should they approach it as, or the team management would approach it as an experiment for the T20 World Cup later this year? Or are they thinking too far ahead, to 2023 World Cup?
I think every game from here onwards is an opportunity for someone to come in and show what they can do. And I would like to see a few new players coming in and getting the opportunities and see what they do and what they bring onto the table. Then 50 over is a format where you actually get to see little more determination in terms of when you're not just looking to hit for those big runs in 6s and 4, but you have to understand how to rotate the strike as well. So someone like Ishan Kishan would be very interesting in the mix. Surya Kumar Yadav would be great mix in the middle, and I would like to see them, playing as many games as they can, before the T20 World Cup actually comes. So this is a great opportunity for all the youngsters to show their mettle and prove that they're good enough to be in the side and they can win game on their own.
And Boria, it's been a long wait. November 2019 against Bangladesh, Virat scored his last international 100. As far as the ODI 100 is concerned, that was a couple of months before that, August 2019, if I'm not wrong. That was against West Indies. So it's been quite a long wait. I know there was a COVID break also, but still, by his standards, by Virat's standards, this is quite a long wait. But the way he has played in that T20 series, a couple of 70 odd runs, and then that 80, unbeaten 80 that he scored in the 5th and deciding final T20 match. So that 71st century, I think, should be coming the series.
I think so too. I think so too. This tells me about Sachin's 100. I kept following Sachin for a year. Every series he and I would plan, okay, tonight will be that interview. We will record the 100 interview, and it continued from Nagpur to Sonargaon, at the Mirpur Stadium in Dhaka. So it was a year. And this happens to the best, Rahul. It will happen to the absolute legends of the game. That's why sport is sport. There are no retakes. One mistake and you're done. That is why sport is what it is. It is salve for a troubled nation, and at the same time, it can give you tremendous joy at the times of COVID. Virat will have to do what Virat does. And you've seen him do that in the T20 series. Look, I will take it. If my captain plays 3 match-winning knocks and India wins the series, he is man of the tournament. Unfortunately for people, they will talk about hundreds. That is why perhaps he said Faltuban. Because the way he is batting, there is no question he is batting brilliant. So yes, the 100 will come. Whether it is sort of clouding his own mind or not, I have doubts, because I know this fellow, his mind is uncluttered. The way he's batted, if he's winning matches for India, that's the end of the story.
True, and as you said, sport is a great leveler. Even Don Bradman had to be content with that duck in his last innings. Sachin, as you said, had to wait for almost a year, if not more, for that 100th 100, and even when it came in a losing cause against Bangladesh. But hopefully Virat should get that 100 in this series, because he's been in good form. Boria, just a couple of more questions. Are we taking England a bit too lightly? After all, they are the world champions. They are the masters of this game. Eoin Morgan made a lot of effort to get this team where it is at the moment, to win that 2019 World Cup.
I don't think we are taking them lightly at all. If you see the way India sort of fared in the 2019 World Cup, unfortunately when Shikhar got injured, and unfortunately when Bhuvi got injured, we did not have replacements. And that is why we had to sort of put Rishabh, an untested Rishabh, at number 4, and that cost us the tournament. Here we are trying to build like-for-like replacements. That's why Jadeja out, you've got Krunal Pandya in, you tried Akshar Patel. I think Prasidh Krishna is a similar call. Surya Kumar Yadav in the team. Look, Rahul, let me tell you one thing. International cricket is not a forum for freebies. International cricket is about India. You are wearing India colours. You are representing your country. So no game is insignificant. Yes, relatively, this is a series sandwiched between 2 important formats at this point in time. But national pride is always at stake when you're walking out. So you cannot take England lightly, or for that matter, any team lightly when you are playing for India.
Well, just one thing I was trying to understand, the inclusion of Krunal Pandya. I would again come back to that point, because even for that matter, Prasidh Krishna, I know that we've heard Virat Kohli heaping praise on Prasidh Krishna. That was a few months ago during a presentation ceremony. He mentioned about Prasidh Krishna, and he was mighty impressed with this fast bowler. But Krunal Pandya, you have somebody like Ravindra Jadeja. The day he is fit, he'll just walk into that 11. Then you also have somebody like Akshar Patel in the mix. So Krunal Pandya ahead of Akshar Patel, were you a bit surprised? I know he did really well in the Vijay Hazare, but you have seen Krunal Pandya before also, as far as this Indian team is concerned?
No, I was not surprised for two reasons. One, he's a better batter than Akshar Patel. Better batter. And you need somebody like that. And Ravi Jadeja, you know, Ravi Jadeja is in my scheme of things for the 5 test matches against England in summer. If he gets injured, what happens? You don't want to be in a situation where all of a sudden you go to search a replacement like in Australia. And we were like, oh God, who's going to play for India? And that is why I think Krunal Pandya is a perfectly legitimate call. Ask Prasidh Krishna. Rohit Sharma once told me that the way Prasidh Krishna hits a batsman's gloves, it sort of comes in as a thud, and he's got good pace. So Prasidh Krishna has been around in domestic cricket for a while, a fairy tale inclusion in the IPL, if you remember. So I'm always to give opportunities to youngsters, and I've got no problems with these selections.
No, even I don't have an issue, but as you were saying, that problem of plenty, because now what we are going to see is a 20-man squad. Even for the T20 World Cup, you will not have that usual 15-member squad. You will have a 20-member squad. So even in cases like these, you have a lot of people to choose from. You have a lot of players to choose from, a huge pool. But then it's Virat's call. But speaking of Virat, Bhajupa, Virat's 71st century, is it coming this series?
Well, Virat Kohli, he sets very high standards for him, you know, and whenever he goes on to bat, everyone expects him to get 100. Even in this period where he didn't get the 100, but he's been scoring a lot of runs in 50s, 60s or 40s, you know, which people are not actually counting those runs into any consideration. But, you know, it's good to see him getting those, you know, 350s in the previous T20s against England. And I hope that form he will continue in this ODI series as well, and we'll probably get to see another 100 in the series from Virat Kohli. If one comes, then you know that, you know, there are a few more in the line.
Well, all right. So just let me repeat it once again. England are going to field first. That means India have been put into bat, and Krunal Pandya and Prasidh Krishna have been handed their maiden international caps. Rather, Krunal Pandya has played T20s for India. So, but ODI, that's going to be their ODI debut. And there is no Rishabh Pant, there is no Suryakumar Yadav in this 11. Kuldeep Yadav ahead of Yuzvendra Chahal. Boria, we've been talking to each other for past few minutes, but there has been no mention of Rohit Sharma. Quite strange.
Rohit will perform. I mean, that is why you asked about others. Rohit's an absolute champion. I mean, look at the way he batted in that last game. Once Rohit Sharma gets going, he's a delight. And, you know, in Pune, it's his home ground almost. Mumbaikar, one of the greatest batsmen of our era, one of the greatest white ball players of all time. Perhaps the best batsman in the world in the last couple of years, if you see his performances in the World Cup. He's a champion. I mean, Rohit Sharma and Shikhar Dhawan at the top for India. Oh, and if the two of them get going and Rohit's back in form, you know, he can beat and decimate any opposition. He will start composed. 300 balls, bahut hota hai, Rahul. Lots of balls. And Rohit Sharma knows that better than anybody. Because if he plays the first 40 balls for 25 runs, the next 50 balls will get him 100 runs. That's how good Rohit Sharma is. And no one knows better than Rohit Sharma himself that pacing an innings is what defines Rohit and this Indian team. So I've got no problems with Rohit Sharma not being spoken about, because what he will do is he will let his bat talk.
Well, absolutely. You said he knows how to pace his innings, and he knows how to get those hundreds. But the good thing about Rohit Sharma is that he doesn't stop at those hundreds. He's ready to convert them into 200s. Thank you, gentlemen, and hopefully we'll be back with an India win later this evening. Thanks.
Hello everyone, this is Rahul Kamal here. Hope you enjoyed this video. For the latest news and analysis, like and subscribe the India Today YouTube channel, and don't forget to press the bell icon to stay updated.